Badawi, 5th Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Bahagia Tun Jin Abdullah, patron of the Malaysia Paralympics Association, Tim, Dina, Sophia, Gabriel, thank you for being here with us all the way from the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, in the summer of 2015, last year, my family and I went to Los Angeles. We were all there, apart from my eldest sister. We were all there to, not just for a vacation, but we were all there to attend the Special Olympics in Los Angeles. My aunt, Datin Rahmah, earlier spoke about coincidences. And there are many coincidences that led us to where we are today. We went for the Special Olympics because I was very interested in seeing our Malaysian athletes compete at the Summer Special Olympics. And that began because I lent my support to one of the programs that is run under the Special Olympics, which is unified soccer or unified football, where they have kids with intellectual disabilities play on the same team as neurotypical kids. So it's not just sports which separate able-bodied athletes and non-able-bodied athletes, but it's a way of bringing people together on the same team, on the same field, so that they can empathize with one another. So that kids who are neurotypical would understand what it was like to play football or soccer with kids with intellectual disabilities. So we were there for the Special Olympics, and I brought my kids along, Jibril and Timur. Rafe, my youngest, was too small then. And to keep them occupied, I was of course Googling all the different kids attractions in Los Angeles, where I could bring them, where I could spend a few hours and make sure that they were occupied. And we found this place called Sky High Trampoline Park in Woodland Hills. So we went there once, and I noticed that there were a lot of other things around there. So I Googled again, Woodland Hills area, and I found this gym called We Rock the Spectrum. So I went to the Woodland Hills branch. That was the first one that I went to. It was just me and the boys. Nori wasn't there. Drove myself and we got there. And I was struck by how wonderful that gym was. A lot has been said about the We Rock gyms. And as a father of 3 boys, and 2 of them were with me that day, Jibril, who's neurotypical, Timur is on the autistic spectrum, I wanted somewhere where they would both feel happy. Not just something for Timur, not just something for Jibril, but something for both of them. And something that I would feel comfortable. Something where I wouldn't have to go to another parent and say, I'm sorry if Timur or Jibril did something wrong or invaded the space of another child. And something that was very functional. Functional in the sense that, yes, they were having fun, but they were having fun and also they were doing their therapy at the same time. And after that visit, I went back and saw my wife, Nori, at the hotel. And I said, look, I saw this, I came across this wonderful thing. We Rock the Spectrum, this gym, which was built and designed for all kids, but especially for kids with sensory therapy needs, autistic kids, kids on the spectrum. I said, you really have to check this out because it would be really cool if we had this back home in Malaysia. So a couple of days later, we went to the Santa Monica branch, which isn't as big as the Woodland Hills branch, but we went there and they had the rope line, it had all the 10 different special equipment that is synonymous and trademarked to We Rock the Spectrum. And Nor thought that it was a great idea as well. And at the Santa Monica one, which was a bit different from the Woodland Hills, maybe because of the time that I was there, we saw freelance therapists coming in to do occupational therapy, structured occupational therapy with kids at that gym with the equipment that they had there. So I told my wife, I said, this is really something that we ought to do. I called We Rock the Spectrum. I spoke to Tina, I remember. I think Tina is Dina's gatekeeper. So she's very insistent on quality control. She wanted to know who I was, where I came from, whether or not I was for real. So I said I was from Malaysia and we want this franchise back here. So she asked me for a lot of documentation, non-disclosure agreement, and that's the point at which my stamina ran out. So that's when we turned over to our aunt, Rahma, who we know is very, very insistent in getting something done. So we thought if there's anybody who has the stamina to go through all the documentation, knock on the doors, get to see Dina, it'd be her. And I'm happy that she agreed to take this up with Bruce, of course. And of course, the rest is history. Today we are here in Malaysia with We Rock the Spectrum. And the happy coincidences don't just end there. I mean, this is not just a simple business transaction of bringing a gym here, a franchise here, and running it as a business. You have to have heart in this endeavor. You have to believe in this endeavor. I don't think Dina would have opened the first We Rock the Spectrum gym outside of the United States, just anywhere, and just with anybody. I think there had to be the right people behind this, the right partners who believe in this, and the right partners who believe in where we want to take this. And the right partners which bring other coincidences as well. I mean, this is very, very uncanny. But Dina's eldest son, his name is Gabriel. Gabriel, as you know, is the westernized name for Jibril. It's the name of my eldest son. And get this, Gabriel's best friend's name is Timor. And Timor is my second son. So, the stars couldn't have aligned better for this. This was truly, truly written in the stars, and I think it's wonderful that we decided to go ahead with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy that we did this, and I'm happy that Auntie Rama, my sister, Hana, and Nori really went and ran ahead with this, because at some point, I just retreated as a casual observer. I asked them, I said, how's it going? And they said, it's going well. They didn't bother me for anything. Nori came to me very, very early on and said, can we use some of our savings to build this gym? Soon some of the savings became most of our savings. Soon it became all of our savings. But I said, okay. I said, okay, because it's something that we believe strongly in. And before I knew it, the gym was ready. And we found a wonderful place in this Evolve Mall. This is the first time I'm here. I don't think I would have known about this mall had it not been for us opening up here. But it gives me very, very good vibes. Open, bright, airy, and I think we're happy to find a home here in the Evolve Mall. And I think this has come at a really, really good time in Malaysia as well. Because, as mentioned earlier, awareness as far as autism is concerned, of course it's not something new. But again, when you talk about the stars aligning, I think we're opening this gym up at the right time. The government is much, much more aware, acutely aware, about the need to make sure that there's better integration in our public schools for kids with special needs and also neurotypical kids. We recently, in Cabinet, in the government, discussed the need to invest more in early intervention in public schools so that everybody has access to early intervention for autistic kids. Under the patronage of our First Lady, Datin Sri Rosmah Mansur, we have also set up a Mata Kurnia, a center for autistic kids. And the representatives, Datin Azizah and all the representatives are here with us today. Thank you for being here with us, because we want to create more centers, more intervention centers which will allow for early intervention, especially for parents who do not have access to private therapy, who don't have access to private OT sessions, who don't have access to early intervention, which is very, very expensive. And last year as well, we received a great, tremendous boost in terms of awareness. Most of you from Malaysia, of course, know this, but last year there was a wonderful, wonderful movie that was produced. This year, there was a wonderful movie that was produced called Reda, and Tunku Mona, the director, is here with us. Thank you for being here with us. About autism. They won a prize recently in the International Film Festival. It's a wonderful movie about acceptance, about love, and about awareness of autism. So this has come at a really, really fantastic time in terms of awareness, in terms of encouraging, first of all, a lot of Malaysian parents to accept and to move on. I can tell you that not as a minister, I'm not speaking today as a minister, but rather as a father to a son who is on the autistic spectrum. My personal experience, I think the most difficult thing is not really the therapy part of it, but the most difficult thing for me was acceptance. Being able to accept and being able to move on. And that was the part which was extremely difficult for me, because I had to accept that he was different, and I had to accept that I had to make sure that our lives were directed towards allowing for him to fulfill his potential. And that came with so many questions, because when Timo was diagnosed, about three years old, when he was diagnosed about 3 years old, being on the spectrum, then a lot of things made sense to me. The lack of eye contact, the fact that he wasn't verbal in a way that his brother was, the fact that he was different in terms of sensory stimulation, it all made sense to me. And it allowed me to understand how we can fulfill his potential, and allowed me to wonder about how I can reach out to him so that I can make myself clearer, he can understand me and I can understand him. And it was all about accepting the fact that he's uniquely him, and he has his own unique attributes and identity, and that allowed me to be able to appreciate and understand his development as a child. And I think part of it also is about trying to make sure that we understand where they are coming from. Now, one thing about sensory stimulation is that kids who are on the spectrum, they often have a very, very difficult time and different experience in processing sensory stimulation. They look at a particular situation, they look at noise, they hear sounds, they look at images, and it's very different from how we process things. And they have their own coping mechanism. Sometimes they flail their arms, sometimes they run around. People who are involved in occupational therapy and on the spectrum, they understand this. And sometimes they stim, they say things again and again and again. Timo can go on and on, he can say a word for infinity. And this is just the way they handle stress. And this is the same with all of us. Even neurotypical people have stress. Even we have to handle, I give speeches every day. But no matter what speech I give, I go through my own stimming and flailing of arms as well. It's just that I don't do it in front of you. I do it in the quiet confines of my car. I do it as well. They do it as well. So it's just them being human. It's nothing strange, it's nothing different. They're just trying to process the world around them. So today, I'm happy because one of the great things about We Rock the Spectrum is it allows for that sensory stimulation to take place in a safe environment, in an environment which is fun, which is bright, and best of all, in an environment where they can be with other kids as well, where Jibril can come, Rafe can come and be with their brother Timo, and they can all have fun. And they can do their occupational therapy here, they can spend time here, parents can go shopping or eat in the food court right next door to the gym, and everyone has a great day here. So I'm very, very proud, and I'd just like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you to Dina for believing in Malaysia. I was told, I'm not sure if this is true or not, that this is your first overseas international trip outside of the United States. I'm so happy that it's here in Malaysia. And thank you for trusting us with your wonderful, wonderful gym, and we'll look after it very well, because you've started this wonderful, wonderful journey, and we hope that this journey can continue around the world with Malaysia as its first stop. Thank you to Auntie Rama and Bruce. They've really been the the energy behind all of this. And you know, Auntie Rama also, because Saif had certain learning difficulties when he was younger, and she empathized very quickly with what we were trying to do. So it's very, very important to work together with people who are family, who you love, but also people who understand what we're trying to do here. My sister Hannah, of course, she's also been at the forefront of this. My niece Aisha, she's a special needs child as well, but she's a special needs child who really breaks the glass ceiling every time, all the way. You know, she's normal school, ISKL, you know, she's as normal can be. She's as normal can be. And to Nori, thank you very much for continuing this, for taking this idea that I just mentioned to you and running with it and making it a reality. And I'd just like to end by saying, please continue to talk about this, whether it's through movies, whether it's through government programs like Permata Kurnia, whether it's through private initiatives, whether it's through the whole ecosystem that is here today. So many of you are part of our journey, our personal journey. I see friends and colleagues who have come from Timor or Puma's experience in occupational therapy. Mr. Lan is here. You know, we've been with him for so many years. Thank you. To more recent friends who have been with us at Timor's, what do they call it? No. Huh? Green Apple, where he goes horse riding, allowing him, sorry? Oasis Place and Green Apple. Thank you very much for being part of this journey, because what we're doing here, we're not running a business. We're creating an ecosystem. We're creating an ecosystem for special kids and their families, so that wherever you go in Malaysia, they're able to ride horses, they're able to go to intervention centers which are affordable, they're able to come to gyms, they're able to watch movies which celebrate their lives. And this is really what we want, because we want awareness. The first thing that you really need to get out there is awareness, so that parents believe they're not alone, and parents believe that they have the opportunity and the access to intervention so that their kids can fulfill their potential. And lastly, we all know that it's very expensive. So one of my next hopes for We Rock the Spectrum is that I hope that this is not the first and only gym in Malaysia. I hope that Dina and of course the 3 lady partners who own We Rock the Spectrum Malaysia will continue to expand, not with my savings of course, because that's depleted, to other parts of Malaysia and of course to other parts of Southeast Asia. This is a story which we cannot be selfish about and keep to ourselves. This is a story which needs to be told across the world. And to make it more accessible, what I want to do after this, and I mentioned this to my sister Hannah, Nori, and also to Auntie Rama, I want to also create a fund where we are able to fund kids who may not be able to afford the time at We Rock the Spectrum, so that we can sponsor them to have their occupational therapy here, to play here as well. So we'll be working on that. That's the next challenge that I've got, to raise some money and to knock on doors and to twist the arms of wealthy friends and colleagues, so that they can contribute to a fund, so that kids can go, not just kids from families who can afford it, but all kids can come to these facilities and enjoy this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful space that we call We Rock the Spectrum here in Malaysia. So thank you once again, and remember, you're not alone. If you're a kid, if you're a parent with a child who's on the spectrum, you're not alone. There are many, many of us out there, and this is something that we are all in it together. So thank you very much. Terima kasih. Dan dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan sukacita merasmikan We Rock the Spectrum Kids Gym Malaysia.